Hello, welcome back. Part 2 now of the build of this Meng Dune Harkonnen Ornithopter. So there we go. We've done part 1. We painted the pilots, well, the figures. We've built up all the flappy bits, or the hubs for the flappy bits. I've got all the grey primer done, and then while we've been off camera, I've gone on and painted the seats in a leather brown colour. I've given them the floor and everything a very light dry brush, you can see, and then given it all a wash. So there we go. I just picked out some bits and pieces in here with black just to try and liven it up a bit, and then the whole thing's had a coat of black wash. So we've got this very, very dark grey sort of blackish look. So if we get all of this out of the way here, we get these bits and pieces out of the way, like so. We can carry on now with as per the instructions. So first things first, we've got the pilot figure. So I think these will be good enough just to snap into place. Now make sure his legs go underneath the control columns and then push that into there. And he goes in there nice and firmly. Now his feet aren't on the rudder pedals, so let me just grab a stick and see what's going on. Okay, he does rock forward, look. So if I support the seat, I should be able to push him in a bit harder. Let's use this end of the pointed wooden stick. There we go. So that's him in there. And then behind him, what I might do actually is grab a drop of extra thin. Sometimes when you glue plastic with extra thin, the glue almost acts as a lubricant. There we go. So his hands are on the controls, which is nice. His feet are practically on the rudder pedals, not quite, but they need to come down a touch. Hold the seat, pull him down. There we go, that's better. Right, so we've got him like that. So his back's just off the rest, but his feet are on the rudder pedals and his hands are on the control column, so that's all good. Then we've got these three, I think they're identical. It doesn't really matter where they go anyway, they're just passengers, I believe. I think the Harkonnen, somebody told me after my review, the Harkonnen are the baddies, the bad guys. Now, I see that one went in there easier than it would have gone into that one, so maybe there is a difference in them. I can't see why Meng would have us put the people in particular positions. It just doesn't seem necessary. I'm going to poke him in the stomach. There you go. Sorry about this, old mate. Big wooden stick in the abdomen. That can't feel very nice. Now I know why they tell you to put the figures into the seats before you fit the seats, because they need quite a nudge to get them in. There we go. He's in there. And then finally, this one can go into there. Again, we'll support the seat. Give them a push. There we go. They ain't going nowhere. Okay, so there's the passengers sat back comfortably. If you want to go to town, they do actually have seat belts by the look of it from images I've seen. So there we go. We can see basically nothing of the leather brown I've painted, but we know it's there, don't we? And there we go. There's a trouble. We're into this all black again, aren't we? We've got the same with the Lancaster from Hachette. Everything's black and it's just impossible to show you anything. Right, so feet firmly on the floor, except for that back one. Here we go. They're looking cool in there, and then once we get the canopy on, as you can see, it's all going to look pretty good. Those guys sat there with their little heads being the only thing of any colour whatsoever. Right, so let's get the instructions out. So we've done all this, we've done that, we've built all this up. Oops, sticking parts everywhere. Let's push all that up out of the way. So now what it's asking us to do is take the port side of the fuselage. We're going to fit this ramp with the actual, there's a grid pattern on one side, the other side is just plain. So that's going to go into there, no glue. Okay, make sure that's up out of the way. And then, oh sorry, down out of the way. And then we've got this blanking piece here, which is going this way up. So you've got the ridges on the top. So that's going to go into there. So that fits in there lovely. I'm not bothering with glue on these because they're going to be sandwiched by the fuselage. And then we've got the main cockpit floor. We've got those tabs which will line up in there. We've got a tab in the front. That all lines up beautifully. And there we go. So that's that in like that. It's funny that we've got a taper there, that's a bit weird. It's like something hasn't gone in properly or something's twisted or whatever, but as you can see we've got a taper here. Oh, it's only because of that door, that's what it is. It's that door's making it look tapered. Okay, so you can actually fit that door last. Right. But just remember, don't put any glue on that door. So that's step whatever it is done. Okay, and then we're going to fit these two together, and they fit together easily like that. And then we're going to go into here. So we've got these ridges on the floor. We've got these pieces here are going to go into these ridges on the floor, and we've got these 4 pins here that are going to go into those 4 holes there. So we can slide this across, push it down, and then slide it in, and then push it up into the floor. So this is all, we're into snap fit territory now. I think Meng are trying to jump on the Bandai bandwagon. And I'll be honest with you, Meng, if you want to do that, you need to crispen up your moulding and change your plastic, because this plastic is quite soft. The figure moulding is quite soft. In fact, everything is quite soft compared to Bandai, so they're not there yet. And then this one here is going in, and it's telling us that the bottom here is going to locate into there. So we've got a, as you can see, we've got in here, we've got a step. And then we've got these two square raised areas there. So that's just literally going to push in, and it just sits there like that. Okay. So it is a beautiful model to assemble, I can assure you. It's going together beautifully. And then we just take the other fuselage half and we slot it together. So where's that one going? I'm just looking here. We've got, okay, that one there and that one there. So call this one, we'll call this 2. One has got to go through there and 2 is going to go into there. So there we go. I don't quite know what's stopping it. It's come up to a dead stop. Okay, that'll be that. Right. This area here, that bit there, has got a slot into here, under there. Okay, so we need to make sure that we manipulate it. So there's not lots of manipulation to do as it goes together. There we are. We've got great big pins on there. We've got great big pins on here in the base. We've got pins here at the front. There we go. Something's just clicked into place. That's all going together beautifully. That's all lovely. And we now have the main fuselage of our Harkonnen Ornithopter. You can hear I'm giving it pushes and there's bits and pieces clicking into place. We've got our door there that we can pull down still. There we are. So that's all gone together beautifully. Now back here we can see we've got a gap there, so what I'm going to do is take a clothes peg, clamp that together. Now what I like to do whenever I do this, I like to clamp it first and then glue it, otherwise when you clamp it you get the glue oozing out. Okay, I'm going to grab another peg, put it on there. No, that's not strong enough. I'm going to take a reverse clothes peg, put that on there. I just don't want any gaps anywhere. Okay. I'm not doing this down here because it may need to spread apart slightly for the top to go in. What I do want to do is glue that at the front, but I'm not going to do it yet because this belly's going to go in. When that goes in, then I may need to pull that apart and we can fill that in with some super glue. But you can see we've got a gap just in there, which doesn't look very nice. So we'll let that glue dry on the back. The next thing we've got to do is fit the top. So that is literally going to drop on like so. You can see I've got a bit of an edge there that needs to be cleaned off. We've got sprue gates on here that need to be sanded out, so don't forget to do those. A bit of an edge on that one there still. I'm just using a soft sponge. And what this is where the edge of the sprue gate is just gone up onto the surface of the plastic. So I can push that into there like so. This is all just clipping together. You can see the seams are on the panel lines. It's gone together beautifully. All these joins here all the way around, they're all panel line seams, so that's cool. Okay. So that's all nice. Now next is building up the windscreen. Now I'm not so keen on putting those panels in yet. So that's going to go into there like that. Okay, I'm just wondering if I'm going to be able to pull this off afterwards. So that's going to go in like that. I'm going to leave the clear parts out for the minute. I knew that peg wouldn't want to stay on there. Let's basically have a look at that. It's a clothes peg reversed. Just freeze frame and have a look at it. Right, I'm going to have to put it upside down. So it's telling us there to put the clear parts in. I don't want to do that yet. It's telling us to put the front on. I'm going to be able to pull that front off easily afterwards. So the next bit now, we've got to start getting some parts out. So we want this C21, B5, B7 and some polycaps, and that's going to be the belly going in. Okay, we've got the parts cleaned up, all ready to go. So we've got our polycaps. So there's one going to go in there. These two polycaps, if you've got this kit, they're in the bag with the base of the stand. Okay, and then that one's going to pop into there. And then we got this shorter part, B5, which is shorter than the other one, B7. That one's going to pop on there. And then that one's going to pop on there. Now I'm not sure. Let me look at the, no. Okay, these are actually going to be held up in, oh, that bloody peg will not stay on there. Stay on there. Right. These things are in mid-air when they, so you need to glue them. They're not a very tight fit. So we need to get some cement, or if you don't have plastic cement, use some super glue or something. I'm using this liquid extra thin because it capillaries around beautifully. You get a nice strong joint. Okay, so that's good. So they can just sit like that. And then this panel is going to go into the bottom there. You can see we've got a little bit of a sprue gate sticking up there. So we'll clean that out. And that is literally going to push into that. It's a lovely fit. Okay. We can see now that what we can do is clamp this front end and get some super glue in there and sand that out to get rid of, I want to get rid of that seam there. I need to go and clear my throat as well, don't I? Right, back in a sec and we'll get that sorted. Right, so this glue here, Flexi 5K CA from VMS, is, in my opinion, the best super glue of all. And this is the black thin variant. What I'm going to do is run that into there. Okay, and the reason I'm using the thin is it will capillary into the joint. Capillary means it will pull it in. Alright, and that will just pull that in and it will cure. Now, I can't clamp it because of the angle it's on. The clamps just fly off. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I've checked everything fits okay. So we'll leave that to dry. And then when that's dry, we can sand it out. If you really want to, I'm not sure how you're going to do it. If you can, you might be able to get this panel out somehow. I'm not sure how, but you may be able to. So we can ease it out that way. Get something under there. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get out, that one. So probably best just leave it in there and we'll sand it out after. But there we go. That's that. Maybe we can pull this apart now. So there we are, that's that. I'll let that dry and then we'll get that sanded smooth and we'll get rid of that gap for us. Right, so going forward, there we go, there's that super glue in there. All nice and dry. I haven't sanded around the front edge of that, so I need to get in there and just remove the excess glue from the front edge. Just check that our windscreen's going to fit properly. It's a bit of a swine to fit this part. Kind of feels like it's gone in, but it hasn't, and then you get this bottom edge to clip over. There we go. So you can see that's fitting on there lovely now. We won't have that gap after it's painted. So it's just that little bit, taking your model that little step further. I don't know why I took that off. I should have left that on, shouldn't I? Because it will protect those pilots, but or the pilot and his controls, should I say? But I don't want to. I don't want to put the glazing in yet because I'm going to get finger marks all over it. We can get sanding dust on it, possibly scratch it. So I'm hoping I can take this off right at the end and fit it on. Hoping there'll be nothing in the way to stop me doing that. So here we go, we've come over the page. We're on step 4, we've done the belly there. So now we're looking at starting on the weapons. I'm not sure what these are. I'm sure somebody can tell me in the comments. These are lasers or something, I don't know. Do I have to draw the ends out or not? Let's have a look at the photograph on the front of the box. There they are there. So they're not even guns, I don't think. They're probably something else. So we'll just put them together. So we've got 2 of these. It's asking us to make 2 of them. So these are just literally going to push together like so. And okay, we've got a gap. I'm not sure how visible that gap's going to be. So that's going to go in there like that. Okay, the actual body is hiding the seam line. So what I'm going to do here, get a knife and pull this apart again because something is just stopping them going together. Don't ever do what I've just done because if it suddenly goes through, it will cut your finger. But best advice is to use something like a rule or something like that. Okay, so we've got something here. So what I'm going to do is just lightly sand off these mating faces, which is what I should have done anyway, because it's standard modelling practice, is to just quickly give your faces a sand. And then this one here, because we have no protrusions, we can just sand over the whole thing. And we can see there what's happening. That raised, you can see where it's sanded here. You can catch it in the light. There we go. It's sanded there, it's sanded there, and it's sanded on that raised lump. That's what's holding it apart. So I'm just going to scrape that across with a blade. That middle section. Then we can just very lightly sand, no pressure, just lightly sand it until the raised area goes down. And we've got the same here, so I'm just going to scrape over the top with this nice radius blade. This is a 10, this is a number 10, the other blade I use is a 10/8. That's the only two blades I ever use. There we go. There we are, we've got a nice smooth sanded mating face now. So when we put these together, they should go together now nice and flush. There we go, much better. You can hardly see the seam. Okay, so there's another little tip from Nige. And what we'll do, we'll grab a couple of clothes pegs and we'll clamp that together like so, and then we'll clamp this one together. Again, I like to clamp it first, and then we'll get our extra thin. Now, you don't need to go to all this fuss. If you don't want to, just put it together, job done. What I want to do is get this all glued together and then sand it out so we've got no horrible seams anywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to glue the ends for now, and then we can unpeg it and do the rest. So I'll go on and do the same on this one. In fact, I'll show you once again in case you didn't catch it first time. This area here, the bit around the hole where the pin's going to go, is raised above the actual surface of the mating parts, and it's stopping it going together nicely. So I'm just scraping that away, and I'm just going to scrape this one away as well. It doesn't matter how much you scrape away because it's only there for the pin to go into. A nice flat sanding stick, very lightly rub over the surface and just look to see that you've got a completely dull surface. You don't want any shiny bits. So you can see on here, around that hole, these areas down the side are shiny. As soon as I sand it, they should go dull. And there we are, we can see it's all dull, no shiny bits, so we know it's nice and flat. Same on this one, just go around it, just gently sand over there, sand over the middle, just to make sure there's no little raised edges or burrs or whatever. This is all for the beginner really. Most of my videos I try to gear towards newer modelers and they can pick up a few hints and tips. Okay, and then that will go together like that. Oops. Slide those together. Again, you can see we've got a perfect, lovely, lovely seam. Just take your time, do your cleanup, and it'll all come together beautifully. Alright, while they're drying, because they're not going to get in the way of anything, I think we can look at putting these side pods on. I'm not going to fit these parts here yet because I think they may get in the way. So I think they may get in the way of actually fitting that, might get in the way of fitting that, because when you look over here, it looks like maybe that's over it. We shall see. Okay, so looking here, we've got F15, F26, F16, F27, F35. Got some great numbers coming out here. So we've got F15 here. They're easy to identify because when you look at them, you can see the pins there. So F20, F16 and F15 are easy to determine which is which. I've gone round here and I've sanded away seam lines and sprue gates and stuff. So that's pushed on there. We'll come in the back with a drop of extra thin just to give it a little bit of a... In fact, I'm going to go all the way around. And that'll help to get rid of any seams or anything that are there. Okay, so that's that gone on there. And then this, with the helicopter or ornithopter inverted, is going to go onto there. So we've got a pin there and a large pin there. We've got a small pin there and a large pin there. So they're going to basically go together like so. Okay, and that's going to be easily pulled off again. So what I'm going to do is put some cement in there and put some cement on there. And that should be enough just to lock it in place, just to nip it in place. I've got a feeling there could be lights or something in there. Yeah, there's lights in here. Look, so I've got some little angel eye things and some lenses we'll put in there after it's painted. That'll look good. Okay, and then we've got the same on the other side. We've got F16. Here we go. That's going like that. So again, I'm going to get some extra thin and put it in behind and just run it round, just to try and make it a bit seamless. And then just test fit that on there. Always test fit if you can. Yeah, that's going to go on there, lovely. So I'm going to put some cement in there, and I'm going to put some cement on there, and then just plonk that onto there, just like so. So we've gone out of sequence. You can see I've done this before I've done that, but that's okay. And as I say, these pits here, this one here, F35, is going to go on this side into there. Aha, so we can see now. Oh no, it actually goes in there. I thought we were going to have to glue something then. So that's going to go in like that. And they don't actually get in the way. That, whatever it is going to go in there like that. So it's going to be fine. Okay, so we can leave that like that. Push that in all the way home, which it isn't going. It looks like it doesn't have to. And I'm just going to literally run across the front of here with some extra thin, because we've got a seam line on there, because there's a couple of little bolts. I'm going to put some down the back there. Then we can do the same with this one. That one's going to pop on there like so. Just clip in. And then I'm going to run extra thin down there and down there. And then run some across the back. That'll just lock everything in. There we are. So other than these two pits here being sanded and everything, I'm going to wait for them to dry and sand them out. I don't really want to move on with any of this because this is going to possibly prevent me from fitting those in. So we'll stick to the instructions to keep it easier for the newer guys, and we'll wait for those to dry, sand out the seams, and then we'll be back. Right, a little while later now, and I've done those seams, as you can see. I'm just going to use a soft sponge sander and just gently go over that edge there where that spring is, or whatever it is, some sort of coil. There we go. So that's all good. That's all lovely. So there we are. So they can go in now. They are literally just going to pop in there. I don't know if they're going to need any glue or not. Blimey, they're a tuck fit. I'm not going to glue them, because if I can't get the paint to go in behind them, I'll take them out again. That'll be a good thing. Quite often when you've got cylindrical parts going into a recess, sometimes it's difficult to get the paint to get in behind them. So wow, they are a tight fit. I suppose it helps if you get the peg aligned with the hole, doesn't it, Nige? Tends to make it easier than trying to push it through a blind piece of plastic. So there we are, they're in. Okay, so they're looking good. What's next? Next part of the build is, so completed that now, so now we've got to do this bit here. So we've got, this is some sort of gun going on the front, is it? Yep, some sort of, let's have a look on the box art. Yeah, that's got lights on it as well. And then we got these cannons down here. So we're working on, here we're working on that and the cannons. So I'll get those bits off the sprue and then we'll get all this glued together. Okay, parts off the sprue, cleaned up, de-seamed, everything. So, first of all, we're going to grab this part here, D13, we'll have it this way round, with the shaft at the front. And then we've got these parts here, D2 and D3. Now you can see the difference on these, what a cutout on one side and no cutout on the other. Cutout, no cutout. So that one is actually D3, so that one is going to go on that side. I don't think you'd be able to fit them wrong. because the cutout won't go over that shaft. Now that's quite a loose fit on there, so I'm going to cement it, but I'll put the cement on afterwards. Yeah, that's not going to stay together. It's funny because I've just been reading the comments from part 1, and I think a couple of you have said that yours actually snapped together. So whether there's some wear in the mold tools, or whether you're talking about the other one, which is the other name, I can't remember, it starts with the A. Remember, this is the Harkonnen one. Apparently these are the bad guys. Okay, so that's that together, so that's that step done. Then we've got to add that to D5, which is here. Okay, now I haven't de-seamed this properly. You can see we've got a, so I'll show you how I do this. You can see we've got a mold seam there. See that line there? So I'm just going to literally, with my round blade, just scrape away to get rid of that line. On the instructions it's showing it as being there, but for me, whenever I'm modelling, if it looks like a mould seam, it will look like a mould seam on the finished model, especially when you start adding washes. So it's a bit like when you get, you know, you might get a undercarriage leg on an aircraft that has a line going down it, and they put it on as a really, really fine line, and it looks like a mould seam. But then when you come to build the model and you put a wash on there, it just looks like a mould seam. It looks like you haven't taken a mould seam off. It doesn't look like an undercarriage, you know, a brake line or something. So just sand that away to get rid of those nibs on there, and then using this rounded blade we can come in and just go down all the edges just like that to remove that mold seam from in there as well. Okay, there we go. And then another little tip, get your extra thin, take most of the glue off the brush and just brush it over where you've just been working, and that'll get rid of any little bits of fluffiness or dustiness or whatever. And you can see we've got quite a good finish on there now. There we are. Right, so that's ready like that, and then this is going to go which way up? Which way up does it go? I'm assuming it's that way up, because although it does look like it's upside down. If you look here, you can see on top of there, that looks very much like this side with the triangular bit and the large lump. You can see the triangular bit there and the large lump sticking out on the top face. But then when you turn it over, it looks like that. So I think this is the correct way. So D5 is going to be that way round, and that's going to go into there. Is it going to clip in? Kind of looks like it's supposed to clip in with a bit of wood. Yeah, I'm thinking that clips in there. There we go. It's quite a hard job to push in. So if you're a youngster doing this, go and grab an adult to help you out. So that goes in like that, and we can see that's the right way round. We've still got those, you can see when we turn it over to fit this part D4, again we've got those triangular bits, so that's correct, that way up. Then we've got this base going in here, it's got a like a forward looking camera or something on it, so that's going to go in like that. And what we can do there, because it's going to get covered up, we can put a couple of drops of extra thin in there, and that'll glue them in. And then we can put this piece on the top. This is D1, and with that at the back, it's going to go down. We've got a pin on there. It's going to go in that hole in there. And there we go. What I'm going to do is just put a drop of extra thin across the front of there, just to get that glued in place. And there we are. So that's that one done. So this is going to be our main cannon now. So that's the two halves, they're going to go together. I've already sanded with a flat sanding stick, I've already sanded over here, and as you can see we've got no shiny raised bits, so that's all good. Same on here, no shiny raised bits, or shiny low bits should I say. So we're going to come along here and just put these together. Got holes and pins as per usual, that's gone together lovely. And then we've got this piece here going onto the top that way round. Okay, that's quite a loose fit, so that's going to have to be glued. And then the main cannon itself is going underneath, and that's also quite loose. We've got a good gap there as well. We can also see I've still got a bit of sprue gate showing there. So I get rid of that. It's one good thing about this colour plastic, when you sand it, it shows up if you've still got a seam there because you end up with a line. So there we go. I'm going to get this glued together. So yeah, that gun is coming off easy, that top piece is coming off easy. So what I'm going to do is grab some of the extra thin, put it in there, and that will sit down in the bottom. So that can go in like that. And then we can brush some extra thin in there to hold it on the front. And then with this cannon, we can push that in like that. And then we can put some extra thin down the sides, and that will capillary in. Okay, and then we can put some across there as well. And I also want to put some cement around here to glue the main body of the cannon together. There we go. There we are. Lovely. Oh, we've got to put this piece on as well. So this piece is going to go on here. I'm not going to fit it yet. So that's going to basically go in there. I'm not going to fit it yet because I'm going to let this cement dry, and I'm going to sand out the seams, and that'll obviously get in the way of sanding out the seams. But that's going to hang under there very much like an Apache. So that's going to hang under there like that, and then this one's going to be under there like that. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? This one's going to be in there. This one's going to be in there. Okay, so we're starting to get our guns and cannons and everything all sorted now. See the size of that cannon, it's bloody huge compared to those men inside. So I'll let this all dry out, de-seam it, do any filling, whatever I need to do. I just use the black super glue as usual, and then go from there. So I'm going to call that a day. When we come back for part 3, we'll get those fitted. We're also going to move on and get this bit here done. In fact, we're going to get this bit here done now because they're going to need filling down the sides. So we'll get these parts off the sprue and get them glued together. Right, there we go, there's our parts off. Little tip for the newer modelers out there: if you have got parts like these, like F4 and F3, and they look very similar and it's very difficult to tell which one is which, when you take them off the sprue, just put them on the instructions over the parts. Like this one here is 8 and this one here is 9. They look very similar, so rather than risk getting them mixed up or anything, just put them on the instructions over the right number. Now this one here, this one is, I should have done the same with these. This one is that one, and that one is that one. So that's 36, this is 37. So number 9, no, I'm completely wrong. That one's 36 and this one's 37. So is that going to go in there? No, it's going to go that way round. We've got a pin here on each end and a hole, and as you can see they go together, and if I try putting them the wrong way round it won't match up. Now they're not a very tight fit, so I'm glad I've done this now. So we can run some cement down that seam. Okay, and this is actually like a cloth heat shield of some sort or other. Have I run it down the right place? It's very the fit is so good it's hard to see where the cement should go. I've left the sprue gates on there, as you can see, because we're going to be sanding that seam anyway. Okay, so that's gone together. I'm not going to touch it with my fingers because I'll leave glue marks, but we can just give that a nip. So that's that one there, and then this part here, F4, is going to go onto there. It's got a flat on it, so it will only fit one way up. That's going on like that. Okay, and I'm going to put a run of cement around there, and that'll cure. So that's that one. And then this one, same as before. As you can see, we've got one pin closer. So if I try and put it this way round, it may well go together, but as you can see, it's completely wrong. So that one there is going to go into there. There we go. Okay, so that's how that one's going to go in, and then making sure we get the right edges, just like so. There we are. And then once again, we've got a D-shaped hole. So we've got a flat there, we've got a flat there. Drop of cement around there like that. Help that glue in. And there we go. Now, where are they going to fit on the model? I'm just going to check the lengths are good. So these are actually going on first. So that one is going to go in there, so that's good. Or is it going the other way around? Is that one for that side? Yeah, that one is for that side, I think, because it's going to curve out around the undercarriage. We can soon check that. I just want to check the lengths are okay, because I pushed those end pieces on. There we are. Whether that's the right way around or not, I don't know, but we'll have a look. Is that the right way around? Yes, it is. They come out. So they obviously come out around the undercarriage. So they've obviously some cooling jackets or something to keep the, either this has got hot and it wants to keep the heat away from there, or that gets hot and they want to keep the heat away from this pipe. But I don't understand the workings, I don't know. I don't have the Haynes manual for this one. Alright, so there we go. So we're going to let all this dry, and then we'll do some seam filling, whatever, as I said before. We'll get our super glue out, fill the holes and everything, and go from there. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you back for part 3. I have noticed today there is a comment on part 1. Somebody said, you have lots of beautiful models, why are you building this crap? The reason I'm building this crap, as you put it, is because I've never done a sci-fi model on the channel before. I've only ever done about 1 or 2 in my life. And I thought it'll make a nice change from all the, you know, correct shade of grey, correct shade of green, correct panel number of bolts, and I just thought it'd make a nice change to do something completely different. So yeah, if it doesn't float your boat, then you know you don't have to watch it. You can always go and watch something else and wait for me to come back with something else on here. So anyway, I will see you all soon. You got to admit, it's a fun build and it's a quick build and it's going together very, very well. So I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.